One channel, different shows, everything entertaining. Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Let's Talk. Predictions for The Walking Dead, episode 506, Consumed. Alright, Deadheads, I am just winging this one. Usually I write down a couple bulletin points. This time I have no idea, because this episode looks so action-packed, I just can't believe everything is in the episode. For example, this picture came out of Carol, all beat up. I mean, she's fucked up. And everyone's saying that she's talking to Noah, which, as you know, it's kind of odd. How is she talking to Noah and he found clothes somehow? Not only that, she's all messed up, and if you look, I'll put the two pictures together. When she got brought into the hospital, she didn't have that bust on her lip. She didn't have some of the markings, a good amount of the markings on her face. She did have the bruising around her collarbone, neck area. She does have the bruising around her head. Her head is bloody and bleeding. Is this just a mistake that they made? Now, I know it is somebody's job when you're filming a movie. For example, Daryl, when he had the black eye for how many different episodes, they have somebody that will take a picture of their face, and then in makeup, they'll go and react that same wound. I just don't see them making that big of a mistake with Carol. Obviously, we know from the end of episode 3, we see that Daryl and Carol are in the car, following the other car. Daryl busts out the brake lights so that way there's no lights on the road, you know, like a ninja, and they follow it to the city. I am hoping that, you know, whoever they're following has like a dark secret. Maybe they're doing something. Maybe they have like a little clubhouse near the hospital that they're keeping something a secret from Dawn. In the end, it would be rape, sex slaves. It would be shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, why didn't they do it to Beth? And then maybe not all the cops are perverts like Gorman. So let's just say no more conspiracy theories with the cops. They are just messed up survivors. So right now, I'm just throwing that out the window. Let's just say that they follow the car to the hospital area. Let's say it's a garage port. Daryl and Carol think, all right, let's find a building close. We can go and take a little look at it. So maybe they're running around alleys or whatever they can to get a look at the hospital area. And eventually they say, let's close our eyes for a bit and let's take a peek in the morning because we can't see nothing. You know, so I'm guessing that's when they go to sleep. Because here's another issue. How many days are they gone? Because we know that Abraham's group slept a night. We know that Rick's group killed the hunters the same night that Daryl and Carol are driving in the car in real time. And back in episode 3, all we saw was Tyrese digging a grave and Abraham's group is leaving, and then what it appeared to be later that night, Daryl came back. But is that the case, or did a whole nother day go by? We don't know yet. So a lot of the daylight action, I'm assuming, has to happen the day that Tyrese and Rick are digging the graves and the day that Abraham's group bus crashes. That's when a lot of the daytime action happens. Then I'm predicting that in the nighttime, in Daryl and Carol's story, the night he brings them back and meets Michonne in the woods, that is the same night that Abraham's group is sleeping in the bookstore. Now that's how I'm putting it together. I could be totally wrong. I'm just winging it here off the top of my head. Then that would give Daryl and Noah time to talk about everything that's going on. And the next day, when they are probably heading out to go do their thing, that's when all of this shit goes wrong in real time with Abraham's group, and Eugene comes out and says he's a liar, and maybe they start heading back to Rick's group and they cross paths. Maybe that's why the episode 7 is called Crossed, I believe. I'm just gonna say screw it. All the action shit's happening in one day, and he takes Noah home the next night. Now that that's out of the way, it seems likely that they would encounter the child, a child zombie or something of this nature, and they put the child zombie down, and in the morning time, Daryl is burning the child. That is what we see him with the bed sheets. I don't believe they would get as close as they can to the hospital and then burn a body. That's like shooting up a flare and telling your enemies you're here. But if you're dealing with an apocalyptic city, things are bound to be on fire every now and then. But anyway, they burn the body. Carol says thank you. And here's the questionable thing. With everything that's going on in this episode, are we going to get a Carol flashback burning the bodies at the prison? Is that even necessary at this point? She could just verbalize it. I don't know if we need a flashback. And on top of that, are we going to get 2 flashbacks of where she went when she was banished? And I do have to say, as interesting as that sounds, what the purpose does that serve? Abraham's flashback was needed. I don't get it. And I'm really hoping that the flashback has reason and it's not just filler. I just don't see what purpose they would serve at this moment. This is also interesting. Do they see Beth's escape? If my timeline is accurate, they would see Noah and Beth escape. I mean, that's very possible. Noah escapes. That same night, later that night, when they're tending to Beth's wounds, we see Carol being brought in. And think about it, they're already spying on the hospital. So I am pretty sure that they see him. Now, do they give chase to hunt Noah down to find him? I'm thinking that they're actually hunting down Noah. They see him escape and they want to know what's going on. Maybe there's even one or two cops that continue to chase Noah. And that predicament, it leads them on the bridge somehow. There's a giant herd, and this has to be at the end of the episode because this is where Carol gets visually screwed up. Has to be. And then there's the rumors that she was hit by a car, which also doesn't match because her clothing is different. And I just don't see the point in writing to have her get jacked up from a van that's fallen off a bridge, at the same time say, oh, that's not enough. Let's have her get hit by a car after that and then taken. Writing this, you could have just have the cops came up to the van, saw Daryl and Carol knocked the fuck out, and they could have just taken Carol and left Daryl. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just, why not? Something here does not make sense with the van drop and the car hit. Something does not fit. And I'm not seeing it. You know what? This might work. What if she wants to get taken into the hospital? She's consumed by guilt, let's just say. And Daryl says no. He is against it. What if we have the van drop? Carol could leave to get taken. Then again, she wouldn't leave not knowing if Daryl was okay or not. If she knew Daryl was fine, she could go off to get taken. And oddly enough, what if she's hit by the car then? Not even trying to be hit by a car. I just don't believe Carol would fake getting hit by a car. What if the car just pulls up to her on the ground? What if she stumbles out of the van, makes it to the road, passes out, and the cops just happen to pull up, throw her in a car, and that is it? I only found posts where there was a picture of her laying down in front of a car. But I did not find the post where somebody said they seen it happen, where she got hit by the car. Thinking about it with the body they're putting in the fire, I don't believe they would have a major death. It's not Beth. It's, first off, it's too small, and second off, they actually filmed that with residents looking out the window, and that's how we got the spoiler picture months and months ago of that scene. I don't believe they would do a major death where residents can just peek out their windows and see it, you know? And seeing as it's a fire, it could be one or two bodies. It doesn't have to be just one person, so maybe it's like two kids, you know? You know what? Maybe it is two kids, and they burn it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's Carol's Lizzie and Mika moment, because if it was two girls, that would be very reminiscent to the two girls, Mika and Lizzie, you know? So that could be why. Carol says thank you in the preview. About the prison flashback, though, with Carol, it could be. I mean, the wall behind her in the photo from the trailer, that could be a prison wall. To me, it looks a little short. I'll just tell you, it looks a little short. If the camera is at the right angle, that could be it. You know what? In the preview, there's a scene I just could not understand. They did not have their weapons, and they were hauling ass through the tunnel that led from one building to the next. They could be spying on the hospital or something like that, and they can hear the gunfire and the ruckus, and they can haul ass to see what's going on to get a look. And that's when they see Noah escaping. And then they could give chase to Noah. Now, they could rescue him from a cop that goes to retrieve him, which would be cool because that would get Noah to trust Daryl and Carol and work with them. Now, if he is talking to Carol after the van incident, then she most likely tries to give herself up. I just cannot put this episode together. You know what? The two biggest things that I think is going to come out of this episode, we probably already know. Daryl brings Noah back to the camp. Carol goes to the hospital. Holy shit, I bombed this prediction. You know what? I can admit when I'm in over my head. That's as good as I can get my prediction for this week. I apologize sincerely for wasting your time. Alright, Deadheads, that is pretty much it. If you want to stay connected with Make a Path Presents, don't forget you can always like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and all the links that you need will be down below. If you're new to this channel, I have weekly Q&As about The Walking Dead going on. I do a rating/review video for The Walking Dead every week, and obviously I do predictions for each video that's coming. So please, if you enjoy this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, especially with this episode, go ahead and leave your predictions down below. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.